One night in the disco on the outskirts of Frisco, I was cruising with my favorite gang. The place was so boring, filled with out-of-towners touring. I knew that it wasn't my thing. I really wasn't caring, but I felt my eyes staring at a guy who stuck out in the crowd. He had the kind of body that would shame Adonis, and a face that would make any man proud. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! The champion of dance, his moves will put you in a trance, and he never leaves the disco alone. Arrogance but not conceit, as a man he's complete. My creme de la creme, please take me home. He wears the finest clothes, the best designers, heaven knows. Ooh, from his head down to his toes. Halston, Gucci, Fiorucci, he looks like a steal. That man is dressed to kill. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. I've ever seen. He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! Ooh, 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 wow! Oh, what wow! Yeah. He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. I love the moves. He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. So lovely to have you with us this evening. We've got a remarkable evening planned for everyone. So let's ask everyone here to turn on our cameras and let's have an informal chat and a chat to our audience and find out where in the world both our audiences are as well as everyone on the panel. Brad, when last we chatted to you, which was a few months ago, you were in Malaysia, stuck in a hotel room in the middle of COVID lockdown. Where are you now?
Now I'm back in Joburg, thank you, safely. I got back here end of June last year.
So how long were you stuck in your hotel room in Malaysia?
Too long. It was about, 3-4 months.
That's rough going. But since you've been back, have you been able to perform at all?
I've been doing voiceovers, and luckily for me, I was running a law practice before I left. So I've managed to get back into practice, thank goodness. So yeah, I've also been doing that.
So give us your best impersonation of a lawyer.
Okay. I'd say, all right, the clients will be signing the contract tomorrow. Make sure you bring your stamp so we can, we're all on the same page, I think, very much, guys.
Howard, that doesn't sound like you.
Can you say the following words to me? I am live. I am not a cat.
Wait, I promise you, Judge, I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. I promise you, Judge, I'm not a cat.
Hannah Rudnicki, you have an amazing appearance in tonight's show. Can we presume that Jake, who appeared on our show on Sunday night, is in fact your brother?
Yes, he is my brother.
So one of the highlights of our discussions with Matrick on Sunday evening was he would like to tell his parents, your mother, that he would like to smoke weed with her. What happened in the Rudnicki house after the show and after the fact that your mother discovered that your brother's greatest ambition in life was to smoke weed with her?
Well, during the show, all you heard downstairs was, Jake! And then we all just burst out laughing. And afterwards, my mom, she seemed pretty chilled about it, which is a bit of a surprise.
Do you think because she was on weed at the time?
That was the joke around the house that everyone was saying, my mom's been so chill during Matrick, she was probably smoking weed with my brother, which she wasn't, I promise you. But it was a joke for the last week around the house. That's what he wants to do.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good ambition to have. Shelley Meskin, you usually go hiking on weekends, do you not? We can't hear you. Let's
much
try.
As possible.
And so where do you go hiking?
I don't know if I can reveal my secrets.
Okay, don't tell us anything, but you're in the middle of recording an audiobook, are you not?
Yes, I am. That's unfortunately why I couldn't have a bigger role in tonight's wonderful show, which I'm dying to see. But yeah, I'm busy recording it's a very precious piece of work that's come my way in a sea of no work. So I'm very grateful.
It's a very long book, is it not? How many pages?
It's it's about 50 hours of recorded time.
Wow, that's a lot to listen to. Part one. Adam Pelkowitz, your brother got married last weekend.
Yes, he did.
Mazel tov to him.
Thank you.
And of course, you not only edited tonight, but you did a lot of editing for Jewish Achiever Awards as well.
Yes, I did. It was an amazing experience to work alongside the Man-Made Media Group, and you and Vicky Friedman. How's it there, Vix? So it's it's been a long, well, not a long road, but the Jewish Report has been really good to me as well. So thank you, guys.
We sat there busy editing Jody Scheckter videos, and I was saying, no, I need Formula One cars. I want vroom, vroom, vroom. And we got a lot of vroom out of that video.
Vroom. You got vroom. You want vroom? I'll give you vroom. I'll show you vroom. If you're not careful. You vroom.
Thank you. So, Vicky, can I presume you're joining us from Asia, given the dress that you're wearing tonight?
Yes, I thought I'd get in the Purim spirit a little bit and wear something a bit festive, something I'm not normally in. Yeah. And after you saw me this week and said, Vic, like, what's wrong? I was like, oh my God, I better get rid of the mom bun and go and have my hair done and just look a little bit more presentable, because by the end of the week, I was just like, you know, in frantic mode. So hopefully I've presented myself a little bit more respectfully tonight on Purim.
I hope you appreciate my Purim t-shirt.
I love it.
Bought in Goa in January. And Dean Goldblum, I can't help thinking that your disguise is not so convincing tonight.
No,
what are you dressed
so.
as?
It's very transparent. I think I'm just going as me.
Do you have any other clothes in your cupboard other than black round neck t-shirts?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's the standard black or white tee aesthetic is the day-to-day go-to.
It makes choices in life so much easier.
It's simple. It's easy. Exactly. Minimalist.
Tell us who you're playing in tonight's show.
I'm playing King Achashverosh. Yeah.
And you had a bevy of beauties all coming to throw their wares at you. Hard choices to make.
All the beauties. Very difficult choices, all on TikTok. Ooh.
I hear the bookies tonight have put money on the fact that you may not choose Esther, you may choose someone else. What do you think the odds are?
I don't know, hey. I don't know. I think me working out anything mathematical is a little bit above my pay grade. I think I think the odds are in everyone's favor tonight. I don't know. It could go either way.
It could definitely go either way.
Yeah.
Renos, where do you join us from?
I'm currently in Cape Town, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Dean, you're in Cape Town. Where's Renos? Is he hidden somewhere in Victory Park?
No, I'm in Midrand, man. Midrand by
Midrand.
waterfall. Yo. Another country.
Great to see you tonight. You
you.
are playing Mordechai, are you not?
Mordechai. My name is Mordechai, yes.
So, you know, there's this very weird relationship, depending who you speak to, between
Right.
Esther and Mordechai. He was either uncle or maybe he was her husband. And if he was her husband, why did he send her off to go marry Dean? It's a complicated situation. That it sounds like a Greek
Yes.
tragedy in the making.
Yeah, it was inspired by Oedipus Rex, you know, mothers and sons and all that kind of stuff.
And
But she
that
and
is-
I, yeah, we've worked it out. She and I, she is my niece, and that's it. Eh?
Okay.
I'm
That is
old.
why, of
Look.
course, we have a PG-13 rating on tonight's show. So, G, you play Esther
I do indeed.
and typecasting, don't you think?
Actually, not at all. I think it's the first time I've had to play someone who wasn't a villain, which is great.
Oh, really?
Which is
Are you
fabulous.
are you a professional villain?
I'm a professional villain. I mean, like back in school days, I've always been Vashti. I've always been the cow.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
so what is it like to be the goody two-shoes who saves everyone?
It's actually wonderful for a change. It's actually it's a little harder than I thought.
So, Sharon, tell us about writing tonight's play.
My word, I don't think we have enough time for that. But writing this, all I can say, I'll say it in short, is it's not really writing something in isolation. It was what the actors brought. Vicky and I worked very closely together. I mean, every idea, sure, I might have put something on the page, but Vicky at the end of the day said, I don't quite understand this. Let's explain this a bit further. This doesn't make sense. So it was an absolute pleasure. So I have to say that Vix was a huge part of the writing process for me. And when the actors came along, they were just incredible. They offered their own, take on things. And it's really important for the actor to own the part. So they also had their own sort of playground around the words that I wrote.
So, Vix, some of the people on the screen you put together not just for tonight, but we have some of the Dream Girls with us as well, the Dream Girls who performed at Jewish Achiever Awards. Introduce us to some of the Dream Girls.
Okay, so the Jewish Dream Girls are, ta-da, Talia Kodesh and Laurie Strauss, and of course Sharon Spiegel. But really we are a crew that mix and match so beautifully, because along with Shelley Meskin and Caryn Katz, who's not here, you know, the six of us are all ex-professional performers, but also current performers. I sometimes refer to myself as ex because I don't do that much performing. The other five kind of do. We're all moms. We're all kind of within the same age bracket, and we find ourselves in very similar. We have found ourselves in a similar position over the last few years, dealing with being a mom, but wanting to be creative, still having an incredible amount that we want to give out to the world, wanting to perform, finding ways to work and juggle families, and we've connected so beautifully on this level. And so the Jewish Dream Girls were born out of this group. Zoom Room was a play that we all did that landed up winning an award at the online National Arts Festival last year, and that was with Jacob van Rensburg and his production company, and Sharon wrote that. So everybody takes roles at different times. We've also come together with Noah's Art, which we can chat about later, which is our charity initiative. So the girls mix and match. We use each other's strengths and talents. Sometimes some of us are busy working on things, like Shelley's busy with her audiobook, and so the others jump into the roles. And it's just a beautiful friendship. I love working with these women. They are super talented. They are super amazing. We support each other. And as creatives, this is such an important thing to have, is a writers group or a support group, because sometimes you just want to scream and sometimes you want to discuss the most subtle thing. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful group and friendship and relationship that we've built over the last, I would say, 2-3 years. It's been wonderful.
So before we talk to Laurie and to Tali, let's just read some of the comments that have come in already. And the first one is from Rochelle, and she says, hello from Bantry Bay, not a breath of wind tonight. Then Aubrey and Etienne are watching us from Toronto. Rochelle is watching us from London. We have people in Washington, D.C., Durban, Israel, more people in Durban. So if you are watching us, let us know where in the world you actually are. We'd love to actually hear from you. We have amazing followers in places like Riyadh in Saudi Arabia and Bangkok, and in the DRC and Kenya and Nigeria and Costa Rica and France. So it's absolutely amazing how we've created an international panel of people who watch us on a regular basis. I see people are coming in from Los Angeles, from California, from Boston, from London, from Cape Town, from New York City, from Johannesburg, from Bethel and Mpumalanga. It's just absolutely astounding to see this platform and everyone coming in. So Tali Kodesh, tell us, your phone rings, you look at it, and it's Vicky Friedman. And do you say, maybe I shouldn't answer this. I don't know what she's going to get me into next.
No, I answer, yes, Vix, of course. When? How? Who?
So when she approached you with this idea that we were going to put together a Zoom-based Purim play, did you think you're completely and utterly nuts?
Yeah,
I've known that all along. Sharon, Vix, Shells, like we all know that we're all completely nuts. So you know, it's just par for the course.
Because I can tell you, when I said to Vicky, let's put together a Purim play, she didn't even hesitate. She didn't say, no, it's impossible. It can't be done. She said, okay, when should we do it? So Laurie, you have to juggle.
Her mind to it.
Yeah, no one says no to Vicky. That's what we've all learned. So Laurie, when Vicky called you, did you say, I've got children I have to look after. I've got an online clothing brand I have to do. How on earth do you expect me to juggle all of this? How do you juggle all of this?
When Vicky calls me, before I even know what she wants, I say yes. You can ask Vicky. I mean, I have worked with Vicky. I met her 20 years ago, I think, when I was at Pretoria Technikon studying musical theatre, and I've had wonderful opportunities working with and for Vicky, and she's also over the years become a wonderful close friend. So she knows if she calls me, I will say yes. And how I juggle children and career is with family support. I mean, thank God we've got Orbers and Zaydas and grannies and grandpas, and I have a wonderful husband, and that's husband who's currently putting the kids to bed so I can be on this webinar. So, and I also just wanted to say, Howie, that I'm so grateful to the Jewish Report for all the wonderful opportunities we've had over this year at this time that's been very bleak for many other performing artists. We've had all these wonderful opportunities to sing, to perform, to create, and to come together. And we're so grateful that you've brought us all together in this time when many people and many artists feel very alone. So thank you so much.
Well, I want to tell you that you guys may be the performing artists, but I discovered last night that I was famous because at about 10 o'clock last night, the phone went and someone said, I'm watching Tully's Baby Diaries, and they mention you in episode 4.
Really?
Yes. So that is now my new claim to fame. I actually cracked a mention in Tully's Baby Diaries. So
wow, that's unbelievable.
Did they call you Zoomstein?
No, in fact, they referred me to me as the editor of the Jewish Report, which I'm absolutely not. That's Peter Cross-Maunder's job. But you know, it was really nice. Like, how did they know?
Ask permission to use your name, Howard.
Never. I am an open book. They can just use me and abuse me. But let's just say hello to some of the people. Larry Klein's in Toronto. Tammy Levy says, watching from Ra'anana in Israel, excited to see some of the cast of the old King David Purim plays on tonight. We've got people watching in Vancouver, in Simonstown in Cape Town, more people in Cape Town. Rochelle is in Durban. We've got people in Klerksdorp in the Northwest, which is absolutely amazing. Himmerville in the Southern Berg. That sounds very exciting. Shelley, that's not where you go hiking, is it?
I'm not disclosing.
You're not disclosing. Okay. Felicia's in Atlanta.
Ask my group about Shirty Shell. It's not pretty.
We've got Felicia in Atlanta. We've got Charlotte in Boston. Jeff Isaacs from Durban. Thanks, everyone. Maureen says our YouTube is fuzzy, but Maureen, like, maybe I'm just a little fuzzy. I should have maybe shaved this morning. Nicole is in Johannesburg. Mishi is in London. India is in Victory Park. India, it would be really cool if you were actually in India. That would be fantastic. Anne is in Rustenwinter in Limpopo. We've got Debbie in Plettenberg Bay. We've got Idafe in the waterfront in Cape Town. In Port Elizabeth, we've got Stephen. We've got Toby in Netanya. Lydia in Toronto. Cheryl in Johannesburg. Bantry Bay, we've got Martine. Maria is in, sends a lot of greetings from Riyadh, which we're always happy to see. Marilyn is in Toronto. And Hazel says she's looking forward to an amazing evening from Santon. So with that, the time has just gone 8 o'clock. We want to welcome everyone this evening. We are broadcasting on 2 channels on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Facebook tonight. So a huge welcome to all of you. It's fantastic to have you back. Of course, on Thursday evening and Friday was the Jewish festival of Purim, which tells the story of the book of Esther, of how one woman saved the Jews of Persia. And it is a tradition in the book of Esther, or on Purim, that you do something called a Purim spiel. You do a play, something funny. It's almost the April Fools of the Jewish calendar. And over the last few years, I've written Purim spiels in the Jewish Report. Some of them have got me into terrible trouble. Last year, we announced that King David Linksfield was setting up the Slow Lounge, and that during your breaks, you would be able to go get massages and smoke weed in the corner. There'd be a special cannabis section. Got me into an enormous amount of trouble from the school. A few years before that, we announced that, in fact, we had sold the Jewish Report to the Guptas. And what really got me into trouble was when I announced that, in fact, Jacob Zuma had nationalized Sandringham Gardens and was turning that into Nkandla of the North. The thing that you realize when you do stuff like that is that some people have fantastic senses of humor and some people have no sense of humor at all. But this is one of the great traditions of Purim. And I'm so happy that we can share these traditions with all of our audience this evening. For those of you who listened to Howard Feldman on Friday morning on Chai FM, you will see the Purim spiel that he played was suggesting that outside every shul and kosher world, we would now have anal swabbing for COVID, as the Chinese have introduced. Of course, if you need to do a nasal swab, you would need a very long swab if you're going in via the backside. But some people took great offense at Howard's suggestion, but that's part of the miracle and the magic of Purim. In fact, the Purim play has been around for over 1,000 years. And by 1500, the tradition of the Purim play, in fact, was almost universal throughout Ashkenazi culture throughout Europe. So we're participating tonight in a Purim play and a tradition that goes back well over 1,000 years. And with that, I'm going to ask everyone on our screen, all our panelists, to go on to mute, to turn off their cameras. We're going to do our standard introduction that we always do. Most importantly, we're going to tell you that this is, in fact, the 79th webinar of the South African Jewish Report. And so we're heading to 80, and we'll do 80 sometime next week. It's been such a privilege during lockdown to be able to do all of this for our community in South Africa, for the general South African community, and in fact, for people right around the world. So tonight on controls is Danny Kedar. Danny, turn on your camera. Let us, in fact, view you. Good evening, Danny. Good and Vach. I hope you had a good Purim and a good Shabbos.
Had a great Purim, great Shabbos, and I have to admit I'm a bit starstruck with this cast that you got on board, hey? And these are big names, and the Jewish Dream Girls. I mean, it's unbelievable. Well done.
But not Danny, very importantly, one of the traditions of Purim is that, in fact, you should get so drunk that when you relate the story of Mordechai and Esther and Haman and Achashverosh, you should get so drunk that you wouldn't know who was the good guy and who was the bad guy. So yeah. Is it inappropriate to ask you if, in fact, you followed that tradition on Thursday and Friday?
Howard, sadly, I did not. Or perhaps it's a good thing. I've only done it once in my life, and that's enough. So I had a beer and pizza, and I had a good schlop. And then, obviously, in that mental state of mind, I definitely did not know the difference in Haman and Mordechai. So I hope I fulfilled the mitzvah.
Well, Danny, let's tell people about this week's edition of the South African Jewish Report, because the cover is actually quite inspirational this week. We went to all of the doctors that we knew who were getting vaccinated in Cape Town and, in fact, all over the country. And we asked for pictures of people receiving their first COVID vaccines. And the front page of the Jewish Report, very unusual, but absolutely amazing. We've just got this beautiful collage of the first healthcare workers, the Hatzola workers, the specialists, the frontline workers, all receiving their COVID vaccines. It's absolutely beautiful. Please go pick up a copy at Checkers, at Spar, at Exclusive Books, at CNA, at your garage shop, at Kosher World, at restaurants. Pick up a copy, or alternatively, don't forget, you can go online to www.sajr.co.za. And you can either download the full edition, or alternatively, you can go to each individual article and have a look. So on behalf of the South African Jewish Report, a huge welcome this evening. And in fact, what we're going to do just before we start off with our Purim play is we're going to talk about Purim as a festival. And we went to go find one of the most interesting, creative rabbis around the world, Rabbi Jeremy Rosen from New York. But what makes him special is that the story of Purim takes place in modern-day Iran, in Persia. And in fact, Susa or Shusha is still a southern city in Iran, and that's where the story of Purim takes place, what we in the book of Esther refer to as Shushan. And Rabbi Jeremy Rosen heads the Iranian Persian Jewish community in New York. So he had about a 10-minute chat to him about his community, about Iranian Jews. And after that, we're going to meet some of the cast and go straight into our Purim play. Please enjoy. Rabbi Jeremy Rosen, you join us from the United States. You have a very interesting community in New York. Can you tell us a little about your community?
With the greatest pleasure. I want to tell you, first of all, I came to New York to retire. It's just that it so happened that former pupils and friends of mine who came from Iran and from Persia, when they discovered that I was here, said, come and be our rabbi. And I said, no, I've been working at this most of my life, enough's enough. But it's a small little community, very small little community. We don't meet that often, but it's very Persian. And I love it because it's a welcome change from Anglo Jewry and the sort of Ashkenazi way of doing things. Persians are very warm and effusive, and it's fun. Now, as you know, the Persian community is the oldest Jewish community in the world, still in situ. It began in 607, before the Common Era, nearly 3,000 years ago, when King Yechonia was the king of Judea. And he made the terrible political decision to back the Egyptians. And the Babylonians came in, they captured him, took him and his family off to Babylon and plunked them there, plunked him in jail and then there in Babylon. These were the Judeans, the northern tribes had already disappeared. 10 years later, the Babylonians are being defeated by the Persians. But at that moment, they decided to bring Yechonia out of jail and to establish him as the head of the Jewish community in Babylon, the first exilarch. And that's when the community was given its official freedom and independence within the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire did indeed span from India on the one hand, all the way to the Mediterranean on the other. And Cyrus was a very tolerant king. He allowed any religion to do whatever it wanted, so long as it accepted his authority. And the Persian kings that came after him, kings like Xerxes, Artaxerxes, and Darius, were all very pro-Jewish. In fact, King Darius actually sent a message to a Jewish garrison in the Nile, in Elephantine, saying to the local Egyptian priests, leave these Jews alone, let them celebrate the Pesach, otherwise I'll come and smash you to pieces. So in that background of the Jews of Babylon and then Persia, it was at that stage all part of one big empire, they lived very happily, integrated into the community. And so the big question, of course, is when did the story of Purim actually happen? If it happened the way it says so in the Megillah. And there are all kinds of questions. We still don't know who Achashverosh might have been. We know he was a fat, drunken slob who didn't behave very nicely towards his wife, and he came up with some ridiculous instructions and orders and didn't know what he was doing, but we don't know who he was or how he was. And indeed, the name Mordechai and Esther have always been associated with the Babylonian gods of Marduk and Ishtar. Now, that doesn't mean to say they were the same people any more than, shall we say, somebody in South Africa called Christopher today or Mary are the founders of Christianity. It was just a popular name. But it seems that there was this guy, Haman, who wanted to destroy the Jews for no other reason than they spoke a different language or had different customs and different rules and regulations, which has always been the case, but was never a problem officially in the Persian Empire. So the story of Purim, of course, is a story of people tried to kill us, we survived, they lost, let's eat and drink and be happy and celebrate the good things in life. And that has always been the tradition within the Persian Empire. Now, the Jews of the Persian Empire have changed. The Persians gave way to Alexander the Great, the Greeks, and the Greeks took over. And then eventually there was the invasion of Islam, and the Jews lived under Islamic law. Now, as you know, Islam is divided between Sunnis and Shiites. In all of them, the Jews were second-class citizens. They were dhimmis, but they were given rights and lived much better under Islam for most of the time than they did under Christianity. But in about the 16th century, Persia was invaded and taken over by the Shiites. Now, the Shiites were always stricter, more orthodox than the Sunni. And the Jews under Persia suffered more than any other Jewish community in the Muslim world. Iraq, Egypt, the Ottoman Empire, they were Sunni, they were much more tolerant and very often encouraged Jews to come and settle. The Jews had a tough time under the Shiites. There were rigid laws. Jews could not go out when it was wet for fear that they might contaminate the Muslims. Jews, if they converted to Islam, could take all the family wealth. Jews, if they were found guilty in a court of killing a Muslim, they would be put to death, but a Muslim wouldn't be put to death for killing a Jew. Jews were not allowed to ride on horses. They had to ride on mules. They weren't allowed to wear fine clothes. They suffered so badly. They were very often forced to convert. In 1839, the whole of the community of Mashhad was utterly forced to become Muslim, and for a generation they outwardly appeared, looked, practiced Islam. Secretly they kept the religion alive at home, and when a generation later they were given the choice, almost all of them came back to Judaism and became so religious and so frum. They were frummer than the rest of the Persian community and didn't even want to intermarry with them. So these kind of pressure that existed right until the 20th century on the Jews under Persia meant that by and large, they had to keep things quiet. And even though actually there was in a place called Hamadan, a shrine to Esther and Mordechai. And interestingly enough, Haman is described as Hamadani from Hamadan. And the Jews there were treated with a great deal of respect so long as they knew their place and didn't get too uppity. So they kept Purim, but they didn't make a noise outside. They weren't allowed to wear fancy dress and things like that, but they were very strict about the Megillah. And they were very strict about similar customs that we have every today, about giving presents, about giving charity and eating special food, but not the Hamantaschen. Hamantaschen, as it implies, is an Ashkenazi, ears of Haman. They had something which was called kolush, which was a much nicer, sweeter pastry made up of all lovely dates and raisins and sweeties and goodies and not poppy seed. So they had very similar, but in a different character. Now, what's interesting is that to this very day, there's a Jewish community, some 20,000 in Persia. And they even have their own education, they have their schools, and they are tolerated. Only one condition: don't mention Israel. You mention Israel, you mention Zionism, you're asking for trouble. But as a Jewish community, they survive and they're thriving and there's good interaction. And the Jews of my community miss Iran tremendously. And they have such wonderful memories during the period of the Shah, but not before that. And for them, Purim is a specific Persian celebration that they make a really big fuss of. So what's the situation? Where we are today now in America and elsewhere in the civilized world, anti-Semitism on the rise, more on the left than it is amongst the Ku Klux Klan and the nutters on the right. It's becoming a major, major problem. And so Purim reminds us that we've always had a problem. We've always had to fight for our survival and find different ways of solving the problem. And in the end, the message and the moral is we survive. We survive because somehow or other there are people like Esther and Mordechai who step up to the plate at the right moment and help us. And we survive because we're positive. We believe in getting on with it, not complaining, not belly aching, not appeasing, but enjoying life. And that's what the message of Purim is. Enjoy, be happy, and don't let them get you down.
Rabbi Jeremy Rosen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is Shabbat in New York at the moment, so we've pre-recorded this, but tonight we've got an incredible Purim play for everyone. So in fact, with that, let's ask a few people to turn on their cameras. Let's start with Vicky and Sharon. And David, great that you turned on your camera as well. And let's also maybe get Hannah, Laurie, Karen, Tully, and Shelley and Glenn to turn on your cameras as well. And while you all do that, Vicky, I don't know if you know, but there's actually a very interesting connection between South Africa and one of the people that Jeremy Rosen was talking about, the Shah of Iran. Because during the Second World War, the royal family of Iran fled to South Africa and were housed in South Africa while the Second World War went on. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi II, who was the Shah of Iran, in fact, lived in Observatory. And there's a plaque on a house in Observatory on the gate that talks about where he in fact lived when he was in South Africa. So Vicky, tell us about this. We had a discussion a few weeks ago. I said, let's do a Purim play. How did you get all of this together?
I always love to jump at these opportunities because so much of what we do about Howard, some of it is about performing artists and creatives making money from what they're doing, but the other part of it is us creating just for our souls and ourselves and for the world, because that's what feeds us as artists. And if you ask any of these people on the panel today, they're going to tell you the same thing. And so I jumped at it. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to pull it off, but I knew I needed some serious help. You can't do these things alone. And then I had a chat to my good friend, Sharon Spiegel-Wagner. And I said, how do I do a Purim play? Like, what about this? What about that? And I threw a few things at her. And Sharon is just incredible at running with these ideas. And she said, I'll write a few things down. In no time, she had put this script together. We had like a draft. We knew we had to work quickly, especially when we discovered Purim was in February and not March this year. So that was a little shock to us. And we just started creating it piece by piece. We are used to putting things on a stage. We are used to live performance. We are used to working in this live medium. And we knew we had to create something special for an online medium. And then, we tried to figure out just how we could do it with the constraints of the actors, the constraints of lockdown. In some ways, you have access to incredible performers because they don't necessarily have other work opportunities, and they might just be a little bit more available than they were before when they were working. Mostly, there are lots of limitations and challenges. There's no budget, there's no time. And so we just took the bull by the horns and we said, all right, well, let's do this. It's going to be fun. We're going to get to work together. And we just started piecing it together from there.
So let's actually talk about that. There's no budget. I mean, literally you have gone, we don't have a budget. Everyone here is a volunteer. We're doing this. We're trying to keep the Jewish Report alive, and we're trying to pay the salaries of Peter, the editor, and Danny, the CEO, and the staff. But we all volunteer our time in order to try do this. Between you and Sharon, you pull together a professional staff. Everyone on tonight is a professional actor. Everyone doing this for nothing. Isn't this like such an amazing reflection of our community that you can go to all of these amazing performers, say, let's just go do some good, go have some fun about it. And everyone just always says yes.
Sorry, Cher. I was just going to say, some of it is for our souls, but also a lot is for the community. And I think all these artists are dedicated to our community. And so some of it is for that. And then we kind of also, you and I spoke about the raising money for performing artists, which we've been doing. And when I mentioned this to a lot of the actors, they wanted to be on board even more. So I think there were many motivations for everybody wanting to be involved and wanting to be a part of it. Go on, Shaq, because you had something to say.
No, so I wanted to jump in because I don't think sometimes artists, people sort of expect to sort of be quiet about certain things, but artists, it's not only what they do for money, but they do it to survive, to live. So while everything is locked up around you, what artists want to do is unlock everything and to open those windows and doors of possibilities, the way that I've seen everybody in our cast and with Vicky and everybody we've asked just be so open to pivoting and diversifying their skills and seeing what resources they can really use to still tell stories, to still tell something from the heart, and also become part of a sort of a communal identity, to be there for our community as well. It's honestly so overwhelming. It's such an emotional thing to actually see, my colleagues that we backstage all the time before we go on stage. Now we're still together. There's just no way you can isolate artists. Artists need each other. They need people. They need an audience, and they need these stories. So it's very, very heartwarming.
So, Sharon, when we think of Jews, we think of lawyers and doctors. We don't necessarily think of dancers and singers and performers. But when you look at the array of people that we have tonight, you actually realize that there probably hasn't been a major production in South Africa in decades, which hasn't had a significant number of Jewish people starring in the cast.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that everybody knows that Hollywood and Broadway was built on the Jewish people. so every producer and writer and actor, knows a Jew or is a Jew. But I think because the sort of places that Jews have been forced to be in, I mean, the rabbi spoke about it just recently, as long as they knew where they were supposed to be throughout the years, Jews were just told to do certain things. So because art was not necessarily, seen as this prestigious thing, what Jews managed to do, some Jewish artists and many, I'm not just disclosing, I'm not only isolating Jews, but when there's a niche, when there's a story to tell, when you can't say something or when you're restricted to something, there's always going to be a group of people that go, but I have a voice too, and I matter as well, and I want to do this, and I want to tell the story, and I want to be able to give you my perspective. So as soon as you're sort of infringed in some kind of way, you will find a revolution of a voice, because that's what makes community identity. That's what makes all these people come together and go, that's who I belong to. I know this. I understand this story. I want to tell this story. So, yeah.
So, Vicky, you mentioned to me that it's been enormously difficult to all performing artists, actors, singers, dancers, street performers. This period has been impossible because people have not been able to work. And we've had previously on one of our shows, David Matamela. David, welcome back. Lovely to see you again. Please unmute yourself. Hey, how's it? How you doing?
Great, I'm super.
So, Dave, people know you as probably South Africa's top choreographer. Tell us what is happening to artists at this time.
I'll be lying and saying that everyone is great, is performing. No, nothing is happening. Everything has been on lockdown, and everyone has been suffering with 1 meal a day, and no one has been doing anything. I mean, from TV ads to stage to street, nothing has been happening. Theater, nothing. I mean, you go to the square, it's empty. There are no performers, no dramas, nobody's doing anything. And because of social distancing as well, it has really made people to really, in a way, suffer a bit, and a lot of people are really crying out to go, hey, I want to start performing, and it's sad. I mean, it's really, really sad. I mean, you go to Pretoria, you go to Benoni, you go to Soweto, you go to Randfontein. I mean, areas that I've been, and people have been calling me saying, hey, David, we are really suffering here. And, luckily I have people like Vicky, Sharon, Tali, and everybody just came together and formed the Noah's Art, and Noah's Art became one of the relief that everybody, during this time, and the Angel Network also played a huge, huge, huge role. I mean, since, this week, we've fed about, the food parcels that have been going out through Noah's Art and Angel Network, 180 dancers, theater performers, from your dramas, your pantsulas, your hip hop dancers, your contemporary dancers, your ballet dancers, your tap dancers, this has been really a great relief to the dancers, just having that food parcel, everyone was going, oh, like it became like artists are now being looked up to, and thanks to Noah's Art and Angel Network, really, Jewish Report have done really amazing by bringing this together for the artists, the dancers, and everyone is smiling. Today, everyone's like, yo, I slept with a full stomach. Thank you, Noah's Art. Thank you, Angel Network, and if we can continue building this and working together and building this togetherness, we'll be an amazing country.
So Vicky, tell us about Noah's Art. Tell us who's involved.
Yes. So, David and I had a conversation early. We chatted last year, and this year I just thought to myself, I can't stand by anymore. I chatted with the girls. We're in regular contact. These beautiful women by my side, and we just agreed. It was a no-brainer. Like, we had to do something. I think in the back of my head, I thought we would maybe collect food for 10 people, like 10 food parcels. That's what was going on in my head. I said, those 10 people's better than no one. Let's just see. Some of the restaurants got on board with us, Photogenic and Migali and Voodoo Lily. They took boxes. We made a poster. We put some stuff on social media. Angel from Angel Network arrived to help us. She brought out the big guns, the SA Jewish Report, last week, and how it just all sort of came together last week on the webinar, along with Jonathan Byrne. And the community have been so incredibly generous. We raised more than we really anticipated.
So Vicky, let's actually talk about that. Glenn Wallman, let's unmute you. Last Saturday, in fact, we had a fundraiser. We had an unplugged evening, and we asked people to donate money to Angel Network and Noah's Art in order to feed dancers and drummers and actors and singers. How did we do, Glenn?
As Vicky says, beyond our wildest expectations. Before the event, you had told us that your previous webinar had only brought in 4,000 Rand, and we shouldn't get our hopes up too high. And so we thought 10 or 15,000 will be marvelous. And if we can give 20 or 30 families, that'll be wonderful. And the Angel Network pledged to donate 104,000 Rand to 295 parcels for families for a month. And we raised very close to 200,000 in addition to the 104,000. So over 850 families will eat for a month. David, I just need to let you know that we do the easy work. We collect the money from those who want to give, and we give it to those who need it most. And everyone makes us look good. We need to thank the donors. We need to thank every single person out there who dug deep. And we've probably still got about 60 people who've pledged that we're hoping their donations will still come in, because the truth is it's wonderful that people are well fed tonight and tomorrow and next week and till the end of the month. But what then? And our two biggest donors came from the Cape, and there are thousands of struggling artists there. So we were able to send parcels to Soweto, to Roodepoort, to Randfontein. There are still 500 food vouchers going out and 100 McDonald's vouchers, but there are thousands of people. People asked us, what about the artists in PE? What about the artists in Durban? And I just want to say, a well-known musician, Larry Joe, passed away 2 days ago from COVID. And the Angel Network has been asked to help with his funeral because the family, he hasn't had a gig for a year. The family doesn't have food to eat. So it's dire. It's really dire.
So Glenn, I don't want to lose the headline here. People last week, Saturday, Angel Network pledged 104,000 Rand. There was close to an additional 200,000 Rand. So 300,000 Rand raised in one evening. We were going to actually use tonight as a fundraising effort, but Vicky, we said, let's not. Like, if anyone wants to give, we'll give them an opportunity in a second to give. But we want to use tonight as a thank you to a remarkable community that has really come to the party. Danny, in case there are people who do want to give, who never got an opportunity last week, let's just put up our poll, and Angel Network will contact you in the week. We're going to start our Purim Play in exactly 1 moment, but I think this is the time that Vicky, you and your team, and Hannah and Tully and Laurie and Adam and Shelley just get a very quick opportunity just to say thank you to absolutely everyone.
Let me give the mic to Shelley first, I think. Can each have a moment. Charles, unmute. There you go.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to myself. It happens a lot lately. Truthfully, I I might get very emotional, but I just wanted to say that it's a really, really deep well of struggling artists, and the truth is that throughout history, it's us who tell the stories, and it's us who I guess bring to light not only the light and fun stuff, but the political and the pushing and the making people look at themselves and aware of who they are and what they do. And we, the storytellers, and throughout history, storytellers are what are the people that are so important to carry the history through. And with your by giving money towards these storytellers and these people, you hopefully are in helping them get through this so that they can tell more stories. And thank you. Just, I don't even know what to say, but thank you. Thank you for being so wonderful. This community really rocks when times get tough.
Hannah, 10 seconds. Or Laurie, 10 seconds.
I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who's donated. I went to the Chev drive-through yesterday and I saw it said no Jew gets left behind. And I said to my kids, you know, it's not just no Jew gets left behind. The Jewish community really takes care of everyone. And this week, I mean, I've seen photos of people receiving these food parcels, and it is just unbelievable. You are literally putting food into starving artists' mouths. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I'll speak.
Thank you. Well, I'll speak for Caryn as well, because she was the one who said when we first initially spoke about Noah's Ark, she said, you know, starving artist is not meant to be literal. And it hit home. And thank you to everybody for helping us to help people we stood on stage with. And hopefully we can do that again one day.
Hannah is our consultant millennial, because we don't understand things about social media that she does. So she teaches us every day. And do you want to say something very quickly?
I just want to say thank you to you girls for having me a part of the team. Oh wait, I'm going to cry. And just thank you to everyone who's donated and who keep helping our friends and our colleagues who really do need our help during this time. And we thank the community and people outside of the community and the Angel Network for everything that they have done. And Glenn, and yeah, just a massive thank you to everyone.
That's us, Howard. A huge thank you.
A huge thank you. David, I just want you to know that while the girls were talking, 108 additional people have just pledged money to help starving artists and performers.
Wow. This is fantastic. And really, I really like to say thanks to everybody. And on behalf of all the dancers, the street dancers, the performers, the drummers, and everybody, I just want to say thank you to everybody, to all the people who have donated, and thank you to Angel Network, thank you to Noah's Ark, and thank you to all the ladies. You know, I mean, you guys have got a beautiful heart, and thank you.
Can I just say something quickly? I know I'm not part of it, but without ladies, none of us would have been born. That's all I'm going to say. So thank you guys, because really it's an incredible thing there. Also, I had so many of my friends are struggling out there, theater friends. So many of my theater colleagues are struggling out there. And luckily I took a different path in my work and whatever. But basically, if I was a theater performer now, I would have been buggered, completely buggered. So I know that for a fact, and I take full, I'm cognizant of that fact. But I just want to say thank you to you ladies, because you're really amazing.
Well, I want you to know the show must go on. We've delayed starting our performance by a good half an hour so we could raise some money, say thank you to people. I'm going to ask everyone to please turn off their microphones, very importantly, so we get good sound, and to turn off your cameras. I'm going to do... We're going to be back in about 30 minutes time with the cast of Purimton. But until then, we'd love you to sit back and really enjoy our Purim spiel.
At last, all looks calm and serene after quite the scandal had occurred in the little community of Bryanston Abbey. It seems as though it's the talk of the town on this very morning, and some residents have decided to check up on the Queen. Or should I say, the ex-Queen?
Darling, do you think she'll speak with us?
I do hope so. Have you heard that the king has locked her outside the palace gates?
Oh, here she comes.
Baruch Hashem.
It has all been blown completely out of proportion. Have you seen what he's posting on Shushagram? Is it bad?
Darling, come, speak to us.
Well, this morning I was at the palace having my usual morning gin and tonic, waiting for the makeup lady to arrive. She was going to help me get all dressed up for the bash tonight. Oh, I've got the most wonderful dress from Marion Bussberg. Did I tell you? Oh, anyway, then I get a message from Hush telling me I should stop whatever it is I'm doing and come straight away to where he and the lads are plushing about. And I said, hang on, no, that's not in the schedule. I'm not ready. The girls are only expected to arrive a little later, and I shan't go without them. And that is what I said. I said, Hush, I shan't. I hope that's all right. What do you think?
Oh dear, my little cotton bud, I tend to disagree with you. I mean, this isn't the Crown on Jewflix, where the Queen is up here and the King is down here. No. In your situation, the King is up here. And also, how on earth are you going to pay for everything if he kicks you out? How will you pay for your Botox or your online Krav Maga lessons? Your arms have been looking so lovely and defined since you started the lessons. I would hate to see them go back to their former flabby selves. And those friezachinos you love to drink are very, very expensive.
Well, it continues, because after that, he was all la 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 and na 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 and wah 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 and I can't and I do so much and I'm pissed and you leave the cupboard doors all open and I can't find my credit cards. I mean, is that my fault? And then he says, and you let the dog sleep on the bed. And then it's over. He said, it's over.
Over? Do you do some cupboard? No, darling. And please clarify, did he really? No.
Oh, yes, twice.
Absolutely unacceptable. Well, you know what? You don't need him. And anyway, he is about to become sloppy seconds. And there's going to be a long line of silly, ditzy, vacant, beautiful young maidens all just waiting to be courted simply because he's gorgeous and handsome and rugged and wealthy and the king and smart and single. And you don't need him,
No, I don't. And have you seen what he's posting on YouTube? Have you?
My queen, how could you? I wish I could blame it on all the bottles of wine and rum and tequila and spirits that I've ingested, but alas, no. I'm honestly and truly hurt by your lack of attendance. Indeed, your absence has left me broken and well sad. I feel like I'm just invisible to you. And it's just in the little things. It's the fact that you don't even know how I take my tea. It's 2 sugars and 1 milk. It's not particularly difficult. I'm afraid we must part.
Oh dear. It seems the young king has made his mind up. Whether he was inebriated at the time won't matter. He banished his queen from the kingdom, and rumor has it she is forged on a journey to India and has taken up refuge in a Buddhist monastery. But where does this leave the king? A little bird told me he is but a lonely heart and is seeking a maiden fair.
Hush, listen to me. You're never going to have a better idea than this, I promise you. Hush, don't cry. Don't cry. Listen, kings don't cry. Listen to me. Hush. Vashti, she didn't deserve you. You're the king. You're the king, for crying out loud, okay? Listen, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a beauty pageant. Yeah, we're going to have a parade. Lots and lots of beautiful, gorgeous girls. You know what they're going to do? Well, they'll show you a skill, a talent. You know, do a little dance, I don't know, make a little love, and you would keep going until we find the best one for you, Esther. Because you only deserve the best. And you know, excuse me, I don't know where Melody is. Frankly, I don't care. You know what? You're fired. Yeah, you're fired, okay. I'm sorry, Hush, I just had to deal with one of these peasants. What was I saying? Oh yes, the pageant. Okay, so what we're gonna do, it's gonna be great. We'll even have a party. We'll watch together. It's gonna be tremendous. We're gonna have such an amazing, beautiful, tremendous time. And you know what? The decision, it's all up to you. But just remember, I started it and I gave you the idea. But it is all up to you. And no one, I promise you, no one's gonna meddle in this election.
And so the big announcement was posted. All the fair maidens were asked to send in a TikTok video in order to try and win the affections of the king and perhaps even become the new queen. Meanwhile, in a small complex in Athelbury, right across the road from Jewrose Arch, a young maiden was zooming in with her uncle Mordechai.
Hello, my kukala. I'm stuck here in Plet. I'm putting up a new server for WhatsApp. You won't believe what I saw on the palace emails, Esther. Oh.
Gosh, Unks, they really ought to tighten up their palace security.
Security, that's why I'm here. That's why I was the WhatsApp Employee of the Month, the WEM. Oh, you know, I'm making a new platform called Tell Me Man, and it is super secretive. Shh. The king can't wait for me to finish it. You know, ever since I discovered that plot on WhatsApp and Shushbook, the plot to overthrow the capital of the palace, he and I were thick, man, thick.
Well, what did you find?
Oh yes. Okay, so Chash is looking for a new queen. So he's told all interested ladies to make a TikTok video of themselves, talking about themselves, and send it to him. And then he's going to watch them, and he's going to choose the one he likes, and then she will be the new queen. Hey?
Really?
Yeah.
A TikTok chef? I mean, what would you call that? Shiduk?
Well, think of what it would do. You will be the first Jewish princess. I mean, that is huge.
You make it sound like I'm Meghan Markle in Buckingham Palace. And anyway, if I did do it, it wouldn't be to be a queen. It would be to find love.
Love, shmov. Let me tell you something. After the second child, it all just fades away. Sorry.
Oh, Uncle, do you really believe you can find love on the internet? Okay, well, I'll do it. But just for fun. No pressure, okay? When are you back?
my darling. I'm just stuck here for now. I have to finish this thing for the WhatsApp version 2.2. But I'll be home, okay, soon. Esther, do a little thing for the king. You never know.
You never know, indeed. Because once one gets into something, one never really knows what one gets oneself into once one's in it. And once one is in it, it's very difficult for one not to be in it because one does not know what one is in for. With great haste, all the maidens of the land prepared little personal video applications to win over His Majesty's hand.
Gosh, I'm so excited. We're gonna find me the perfect girl. I mean, you. We're gonna find you the perfect girl. Yes, just a beautiful, gorgeous, tremendous girl. It's gonna be great. Okay, let's see the first one.
Hey, Akash, look what I can do. Pick me, Akash.
Oh, no. Too many colors. You know what? She looks like a walking paintbrush. Next.
Hey, Akash. Look what I can do. Good morning, Achashverosh. Pick me to be your queen.
Oh, but she has a lovely voice. Wait, did you see that, Doug? You're a cat person. Come on. Next.
Hi, Fleisch. Pick me to be your queen, and together I'll make sure that we stay really flexible.
She's nice. That flexibility. It's way too intimidating. And look, you won't be able to keep up. You're about as flexible as a plank. Trust me. Next.
Hey, King Chashi. You want to know who to pick? Well, look what I can do. So, pick me, and I'll even be your trainer.
I don't know what to say, really.
I know. I'm shocked too. But I told him all he knows. He's great. Next.
Oh, Hashi, darling, how absolutely awful this must be for you. First Vashti, and now the sudden pressure of having to select a suitable maiden. You must feel very overwhelmed. If you need anything at all, and I do mean anything, I'm here for you.
Oh, wow. A cat person. Holy meowly. Oh, I think we have a winner.
She's Vashti's best friend. I can't.
Really? All right, okay. I'll just DM her later. Maybe console her, take her out for dinner, do a little dance. Okay, next one.
Hi, Chash. I'm just a girl standing in front of a TikTok video asking you to love her. Pick me. I make the perfect cup of tea with milk and 2 sugars.
That's her. She's absolutely perfect.
Oh, don't fall for that cheesy. I'm just a girl standing in front of a screen. Garbage.
There's something about her, I promise you. And she knows how to make tea just the way I like it. She's absolutely perfect. And she's gorgeous.
And so it was that Achash found his new other half. He wed Esther immediately, and now the couple were fast becoming the most popular couple on Shushagram. How being in love must feel. Meanwhile, another storm was brewing in someone else's matrix. It seems Uncle Morty may have stumbled onto yet another confidential audio file by accident. Or perhaps it was meant to be.
All the Jews.
All of them?
All of them, Vinny. I'm not playing games.
They call me Vincenzo now, not Vinny.
Well, I'm gonna build a wall. I'm gonna build a wall, Vincellino, so long and so big, none of those kosher kugels and bagels will ever get into Shushan again. Listen, Venerino, don't disappoint me. I'm gonna get rid of all the herring, gefilte fish, everything else, okay?
Okay, so you're playing with the big boys now. I got this new thing. They call it Goyet 19. It's a biological weapon, engineered from bat poo that infects a Jewish human and kills them instantly once they've inhaled. It's a mutant strain that targets only Jews, and it comes from South Africa.
Beautiful, beautiful, just perfect. That's tremendous, Finalito. They'll magically just disappear. But wait, how do we get it into their bodies?
You could have a party.
We'll have a party, an outrageous party. And only invite the Jews. We'll wine them, dine them, and then let the smoke machines infect them. Oh, they'll dance to their death. This is exactly how I'm gonna get rid of them. I'm gonna make Shushan great again.
Whatever you say.
Oh dear, dearie, dearie me. Dearest of dearest, oh my actual dear. Uncle Mordechai has fumbled and stumbled upon a plot to rid Persia of all the Jewish people. Suddenly, very abruptly and rather quickly, a little bird tweeted the plans for the outrageous party, strictly for Jews only. Uncle Mordechai couldn't possibly let the Jews and all his kind perish. It was time to summon the Queen-E, the Queenie.
Uncle Mordechai, how are you?
Esther, something terrible is happening.
Is it the dog again? I told you to take her nose and put it in the puddle and just...
No, Esther, no, it's not the dog, it's the Jews. The Jews are in trouble, Esther.
The Jews? What? No, they're not. Actually, Haman just tweeted that he's throwing a party for Jews only. Isn't that wonderful? He's called it an outrageous
party.
Yes.
It's not a party. It's not a party, Esther. It's a plot to kill all the Jews. He's going to put this mutant South African virus into the smoke machine, and the Jews are going to dance, and they're going to dance until their death.
What? Are you sure?
I stumbled against this voice file. And then I traced where it came from with all the details of this plot. And I found it was from the palace. Esther, you have to go to the king. You have to tell him that you're Jewish. You have to do this to save yourself, to save us. You have to save the Jews, Esther. You have to do this.
Uncle, do you know what you're asking of me?
You are our only hope, Esther.
I'll do it. I don't know how, but I'll do it.
Just do it.
It is true the Queen did not know how to broach the subject to the king. She fasted for 3 days and told the king she needed to call him at once.
Hello, my king.
Hello, my love. When are you going to come to this side of the palace?
There is something I must tell you.
Are you with child?
No?
Yes. I mean, I'm so ready. I've actually never been more ready for anything in my entire life. I was practically born ready.
You know that party Haman is throwing where he's inviting only the Jews? Well, he's planning to kill them all. Dead. He's planning to put some South African mutant strain virus into the smoke machine and make all of the Jews sick and die. And I'm a Jew.
Bless you, darling.
No, I'm a Jew. I'm Jewish.
Oh, I didn't know you were bilingual. And you're kosher. Yes.
Yes, very kosher. You must believe me. I did this to save my kind. But I love you, and if you don't want to be with me anymore, I will sacrifice myself with my people.
No. What madness is this? No. Look, I don't care if you are halal or kosher or vegan, although that one would be particularly difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. You are my queen. The rest, it doesn't matter. Damn him, all right? Haman is fired.
And so it was after this call that the fate of the Jewish people was saved and restored. Haman was impeached twice from his position as royal vizier. He was banished for good, and rumor has it he was interrogated by the Mossad and was never heard from again. ... The position of the king's side was taken up by someone mysterious and new, Mordechai and his tech crew. Who am I? Why, I am Lady Whistlesteel. None of you really suspected who I could be in the story. Perhaps I am your Bobber, Zeta, or great aunt from Canada that you've never met. I could even be the girl next door. But the purpose of whistling the narratives of time is precisely that: to be anonymous, mysterious, and an authentic Kocherleffel. And now, a delight for your ears, a Jewsical finale performed by Lord Jishi Bass of Glen Hazelton and Duke Spiegelberry of Wagnerton.
See how this bastard showman sighed to the king, yes, his watchman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in Deuteronomy by providence and foolishness and squander. Blow up to be the reason for this horror.
The 10th daughter found a father without a father, got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed her in the space of Morty's daughter.
And every day while Jews were being the target and parted away across the waves, she struggled and kept her guard up. Inside she was longing for something to be a part of. The Esther was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter.
Yes, I mind he came, and devastation reigned. Uncle Mem saw his future dripping down the drain. But Tefillah from his temple connected it to his brain, and he took no more restraint, a testament to his gain.
And the word got around saying her money is insane, man. Took a Jew's confession just to send into the wasteland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
Mordechai of Benjamin. This is the magic story of Purim. There's a million Jews we had to save. Just you wait, hear this take.
When I was 10, father sick, full of it, dad ridden 2 years. I didn't see Abba and my mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in the room sick, the scent thick.
Hadassah got stronger, but my parents ran quick.
Moved in with my cousin, his name was Mordechai. Helped me meet the king, become his bride, something new inside.
A voice saying, Esther, you gotta fend for yourself. She started retreating and dealing with everything all by herself.
There would have been nothing left if Jewface plan had taken through. We would have been dead and execute without a soul to re-imbue.
He started
working for His Majesty the King, yo. Planning, scheming, making Jews bend down to worship on the floor.
Saving now every Jew he can get his hands on. Planning for the future, see him now as he stands on the bow of a ship headed for a new land. In Shushan he became a new man. In Shushan he made Haman the new band. In Shushan he showed the king that he can. In Shushan Esther took a big stand. In Shushan Her Majesty the Queen is dead. We are waiting in the wings for you. You never backed down, you knew you couldn't take your time. Oh, Mordechai of Benjamin, the land of Persia sings for you. Will they know what you overcame? Will they know you rewrote the game? The world will never be the same. Oh, Haman is in the gutter now. See if you can spot him.
Another super Jew coming up from the bottom.
Achashverosh Achashverosh destroyed him, and the Jews never forgot him.
We caught his sin. Me, I lied for him. Me, I trusted him. Me, I bust him.
And me, I'm the queen Jew that got him.
There's a million Jews we had to save, and we were saved. The magic story of Purim.
Ay, 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 ay.
Well, that was definitely a Spielke Sisters production. So a huge thank you to all of our performers. Our performers can't see you as the audience because this is a webinar. Please give them a comment. Please give them some applause in the chat section, whether you're on Facebook or Zoom or YouTube. In the chat section, please just tell them what you thought of that performance tonight. It was absolutely a mishmash of so many amazing things. Sharon, you wrote that. Let's unmute everyone. Sharon, you wrote that, and not that ending number, the ripoff of the Hamilton musical. Tell us how you put that together.
If I'm honest with you, sometimes these ideas come while I'm driving my kids and I just want to drown them out. So I just start thinking about sort of like things in my head and songs that I want to sing, and I think also what's really important to me is also being really current and relevant. I mean, we've got to just keep all together, and it's sort of really trendy now. And I don't know how, when I just started like rapping while I'm driving, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a rapper. And I don't know, I just, like, the words they really just came to me. I sat with them, and I love the music, and I just love doing that stuff. So it was so much fun. And it was such a difficult thing to think of putting it together, that there were so many times where Vicky just said, Cher, I don't know, this is really hard, and people have to learn this, and it's difficult. And I stood and I said, no, I really want to do this. I really want to end the show with music, because the Purim plays at high school, they always had music in them, and I really, really wanted that part of that section of the world to be included. So I fought for it.
So Vicky, that was in fact reminiscent for those people who've watched History of the World Part 1. It ends with a very similar musical number at the end, where Jews out in space zooming along, protecting the human race. That was really an homage to one of the greatest Mel Brooks comedies ever made.
Yeah. Oh, we thought of a lot of references while we were creating this. There's obviously the bits of Bridgeton. We had Monty Python in the back of our head. We wanted to bring in the coronavirus. We had a bit of a Trumpian moment. There were lots of things that kind of had an inspiration. But I just want to tell you that Sharon is being very humble, because not only did she write it, she also edited that segment and that section of the show, which is really a very, very difficult thing. One has to be musical and creative and know the program. And so she really spent an enormous amount of time figuring out how to make it work, how to make it happen. And it is brilliant, Sharon, and people loved it. And there's amazing comments on the chat about how wonderful it is. Well done.
Well, I want to speak to Lady Whistlestein. Adam, when Vicky told me what this was about, I hadn't watched Bridgeton, and so last week I actually went and I started watching. You are the perfect Lady Whistlestein.
Thank you so much. Such a, and I've always said to, so whoever knows me in the industry has always known that my secret thing was like one of the, like when you have chocolate in the fridge and you know that it's there, and you sort of want to go just eat that entire block of chocolate, or bar of chocolate, rather in my case, is for me to play a dame in a pantomime. That would be like my ultimate thing that I would love to do before I die. And when Vicky contacted me to say, listen, are you willing to edit this? And, you know, what are your thoughts on this? And help me through the process, because it was quite a serious process to go through in 2 days. Basically, we put this together, right, Vix?
Yeah, we edited in 2 days, and it was shot in about 4.
So
all on
basically, 6 days shot on Zoom, 6 days with being shot on Zoom and fully edited and voiced. So it was a very quick project because I've got other things that are on the go as well, and so do everyone else. So for me, it was like Sharon, Vicky sat me down and went, okay, help me go through this. How do you go about this? I said, well, you've got to use backgrounds. You've got to be able, should we do green screen? She says, I said, you are looking for trouble, because then with green screen, you've got to then find things to put in. You've got to cut people out from, you know, anyway. So it's a whole technical story. It turned out to be a thing where we were now going, what are we going to do? We don't know who we're going to play Lady Whistlestein. And I actually just went, you know what, Vix, I'll do it. I'll do it. Let me just do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And thank you for
and you were fabulous, and you edited it so beautifully. Thank you, Adam, for everything that you put in.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to say that Vicky would WhatsApp me at 1 a.m. and say, "Are you up?" And I wasn't up, so I woke up at like 7 or 8, and I would see, "Are you up?" Vicky and Adam were up for the whole night editing. So, I mean, it was really I would always put the analogy of a painter. You don't see every single tiny little, strip of paint that they put down. You only see the whole picture. And it was every sort of strip and every moment and every second discussed and scrutinized over. And it was just, the work that was done. It's really I have to applaud those two. They were on the screen all the time. Sure.
So I see Rachel has put on the chat. She says, loved it, such fun. The Trump was inspired. Mazel tov. So Brad, when you start playing Donald Trump, people are going to love you or going to hate you.
No, but that is his character, and you just have to go with it. And Sharon just wrote such a great script that I just got it and I ran with it. And all the Trumpisms, just put in there. And I just grew into the character. We did a few takes. The more I did it, the more I grew into the character. And it's just so much fun to play such a narcissist. Like that sort of character doesn't come along often. So it was just great fun. I loved every minute of it.
Who is your favorite character that you actually play generally?
That's a tough one. Just generally, I'd love to play the villains, like the Jokers sort of thing. It's just, there's so much of a dynamic to these characters that you just keep finding more and more. But ultimately, this was just for the enjoyment of it, and I'm gobsmacked as to how it was put together in such a record time and how it came together. I didn't see any of the footage, so it's just amazing job to Adam and Vicky and Sharon and the whole cast. It was absolutely phenomenal job. Really.
Brad, let's put you on the spot. Give us an impersonation of anyone so people can understand the breadth of your talent.
I can do the impersonation of SpongeBob. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, that was such an amazing show.
Thanks, SpongeBob. Appreciated. Dean Goldblum, let's talk to you because you are actually now a proper famous actor. I think people may remember about 5 or 6 years ago, you appeared on Idols in an audition. Was it Idols that you auditioned for?
I was on South Africa's Got Talent. Yeah.
South Africa's Got Talent. How did that go?
It was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun, and I learned a lot, and I was young, and it was really, really cool. It went well. It was good.
But things have changed since then. You've finished acting school at UCT, and you're on television on kind of the daytime soaps on a very regular basis.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm not finished drama school yet. I graduated at the end of this year. I've been really fortunate to work with some really special people that I really look up to, and I've been able to be placed in work that allows me to learn from all these people. I've been very lucky.
So where can we see TV?
They're actually playing reruns of it currently, but I just finished playing a character called Sean on an SABC1 mini-series called The Kingdom. And that's on every Sunday at 8 p.m. on SABC1. So people can check me out playing that character. And it's an awesome one because it highlights the lived experiences of the deaf and hard of hearing community. So it's a very special story and one that's important. Yeah.
So I referred to you on WhatsApp yesterday as a matinee idol. Did you know what I was talking about?
Not it went straight over my head.
Did you at least go Google the term?
No.
Okay, you bet.
Millennials. Google.
Google. All right, whistle's fine. I'll Google.
Google it, my darling.
Okay, my darling. For you, I'll do whatever you want. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
So I see as well we've been joined by Alan Glass. Alan, you didn't make a physical appearance on the show, but you were the evil Vinny voice.
Apparently, yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, I couldn't make it this evening, sorry, but I'm sure you all did fantastically well, and I'm sure it was well received by all, and happy to be part of it, even if only in a sort of a vocal sort of way.
Have you now reached the age whereby the face isn't important? It's all about the voice.
What, did I not shave or something?
Alan, Brad was kind enough to give us a SpongeBob impersonation. Give us your favorite voiceover voice.
My favorite voiceover voice. Yeah, well, I think I've been sort of trying to channel what's his name? Kevin Spacey lately. Let me see if I can do this for you. Yeah. Well, because I was on set for a while, and I was a little bored on set, and I was hanging around with a whole bunch of people, and I was bored, so I spoke like this the whole day and drove everybody insane. It changes from day to day. Depends what's in my head at any given.
My nickname for Alan is the voice of God, because he will often just need to do a voiceover and be the announcement voice in the room or the play or wherever you are. Then Alan steps in and the voice.
It's usually Vicky saying, "Tell them to sit down. Tell them to sit down." So, ladies and gentlemen, please sit down. Vicky says, "Sit down."
But you know what? When we recorded the scene, there was so much Alan could offer us. We did like about 4 different guys because he can do so many voices. I mean, at the end of the day, we just didn't know. We were like, Alan, just choose because you're so good at it. So we came up with Vicky Giuliani.
Thanks. But how to answer your question? Yes, the face. I'm afraid. Yeah. Well, yes, it's all about voice. Faces. Yeah. Secondary.
So, Renos, I want to ask you, you're actually, besides for being quite a famous actor, you're also an acting teacher. Crit all of our performances tonight.
Oi.
Okay, so
I'm not ready for Renos crits.
No.
Renos stand at 6. Renos stand at 6.
Exactly, yeah. You know what? With all this passion here, they got their distinction, and not just an A plus, like 96, 97%, the whole lot. As usual, full house distinctions. Bravo, Mazel Tov, Opa, and let me break a plate quickly or something.
So tell us, you played the goody two-shoes, you saved us all. The Jews of Persia went on to exist and survive because of your character. Did you feel pressure on your shoulders?
I felt so much pressure on my shoulders. No, but it was really such fun playing Esther. We had so much fun while recording. I was a little bit skeptical. I mean, recording on Zoom, it's weird. You don't have the fun that you have backstage and during rehearsals, and everyone is just laughing and enjoying it. And we really did have that over Zoom, so it was amazing.
you know, in one of our early webinars, I interviewed an Israeli actor called Aladaka, and he plays a terrorist on Fauda.
Oh.
And when I was watching, in fact, if you watch series 4, in the end, there's a very dramatic scene where he kills someone, he kidnaps people along the way, and the questions coming in, like for him, like when we ask the audience, do you have any questions? The questions coming in, why did you do that? And don't you feel terrible that you killed her? And
that's when you know you were successful in your job.
And that's when you know you're successful as an actor, when people can't tell the difference between the character and the actor themselves.
Absolutely.
So Laurie, tell us, you were there in your full regalia. Laurie, can you hear us?
Laurie seems to have frozen.
Laurie's frozen. Okay, Tali, give us your thoughts.
Well, I just want to say that it is the easiest thing acting Sharon's scripts. It's the second time that I have had the privilege of doing that in such a short time. And so often actors get a script and we have to, pull rabbits out of hats to make the specific line work, or what was the writer thinking? And with Sharon, it is just take the piece of paper, say the line, and it just happens. So it was just always such a pleasure. What can I say? And it's my first Purim play I've ever done.
Oh.
Laurie, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
So before you start, Devora Felder, who's watching from India at the moment, says, bravo, bravo. Anonymous person says, still laughing and crying. It was fantastic. Well done. Steve Sinek says, loved it from New York. So Laurie, tell us your thoughts.
It was just so wonderful to get to work on this new medium, which didn't exist before the days of lockdown. And it's incredible to see what we can do, and using different mediums to put something together at a time when we can't be in a live theatre doing a live Purim play. So, and just, I think Vicky and Sharon are amazing. Nobody really knows what goes on behind the scenes and how much work is involved in every little thing. I mean, the scene that my little scene I was in with Tali and Caryn took a whole morning of about 5 hours to film. So just well done to everyone.
So can I say, if you're busy watching us and you'd like to ask any of the cast any questions, please, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Please click on it and ask any questions to any of the people. The cast members will all have a look as well. And we've got a few people saying, I can't see this, I can see the grid, I can't see that. The view that you watch on Zoom is controlled by yourself. Top right hand side, there's a button that says view. You can click on speaker view or gallery view. We provide a standard view, but you can change that at any point in time. David Matamela, tonight we've done good. We've raised lots of money for performing artists. We've had huge fun. We've celebrated an amazing Jewish festival about survival. You're kind of an outside looking in on this production. What did you think?
This is fantastic. I mean, all the actors and the singing and the music, it's really fantastic. This is how creativity is, and it's well put together. And I was just laughing and enjoying myself watching, it's really fantastic. I wish we could just have the lockdown go away and have this on stage and just, it's so beautiful, fantastic. Well done, guys.
So David, we were telling you earlier that in fact 107 people said contact me and we'll pledge money, but some people started putting money into the Angel Network's bank account. We've already collected over 15,000 rand tonight in addition, and people haven't even been contacted yet. So Vicky, Yeah, sorry, Dave.
Oh, thanks to everyone. I mean, all the people who have just been donating, and thank you, Howard, and thanks to everybody. I don't know how many thanks I can make. Thank you.
So, Vicky, you said the other day, wouldn't it be amazing if, when kind of all of this was over, we could actually do something like this live for people?
Howard, this is now where my head is at, because it's ticking over. The moment something like this, comes to its fruition, then I start to think of the next thing. And yeah, I mean, let's, I'm always there, ready to put on a show. I think we all are. So we'd love to have a live production in the future at some point going forward, and have the community there to watch and be seated live in an audience, experiencing the performers in a live, energetic way. In the meantime, we're going to keep our chins up, and we're going to keep doing what we can like this and keep creating, because that's all we know how to do. So yeah, guys, thanks. And you guys are just amazing to work with, and I love them all, Howard. They're just incredible.
I have to jump in here and just say, I have to say thank you. I haven't managed to my partner in the rap. It was Yeshai Basarabi, a very, very young singer who I must tell you is, you just got to watch out for him. What a skill. He's also the reason that sort of came about. I couldn't find anybody. And then I just said, Yeshai, do you know the rap from Hamilton? And then I had to just say that it was also him that, really put in that effort with me. So thank you, Yeshai. Thank you.
So, Laurie, you just messaged me to say people are asking how they can donate if they haven't yet. So one of the things that I'm just going to ask Danny to do is, just if you haven't donated and you'd still like to make a contribution to say thank you to all of these artists tonight, and all the money goes literally to starving singers, dancers, drummers, performers. Danny, please put up the poll for the very last time. We'll leave it on for a minute as we go into the last few moments of tonight. And so if you haven't made a donation and you'd still like to do so, please feel free to click on the yes button, and the Angel Network will contact you. All your donations are tax deductible. You'll get a Section 18A certificate for that. All the distribution of all the food and everything is done by the Angel Network together with Noah's Ark. Noah's Art. So you'll be able to make sure that it gets to really people with absolute need. I see we've already got 27, 28 new people who wanting to donate. We're going to leave that up for a minute. But Adam, one of the questions that has come in for you, and it's from Elliot Glass, and he says, Adam, please will you do, just for old times, If I Were a Rich Man? Are you willing to give us a line or two?
Oh, you have to.
Let's unmute you.
Do I really have to, Dean?
Yes, you have to. Please. The people need it.
I spent 3 days editing this from morning to night. No sleepless nights. I haven't sung in about 2 years.
So how about...
We'll take it into account.
If I were a rich man, diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum. All day long I biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum. If I were a biddy biddy rich diddle diddle digga diddle man.
Yeah!
Woo!
We're going to end in about 2 minutes time, the entire show. I want to thank the additional 40 people who've all told us that they'd like to make a donation who haven't yet. So that takes us up to close to 150 people tonight who've all pledged to make a donation through to Noah's Art and to the Angel Network. So guys, just a massive thank you.
Howard, can I pipe in for a sec?
Please do.
Just to say to Vicky and Sharon, I'm sure I can speak for all of us, thank you so much for taking this on and having us as a part of it. Honestly, it's been soul destroying being a part of this industry in a time like this. And it was just so amazing to perform again and to have fun again and do what so many of us love. And we are very grateful for your patience and kindness and dedication to this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Guys, you've given up your time, you've given up your energy, you've given up us your talent tonight in order to do good for the entire South African community. So on behalf of everyone, I just want to thank you all for the most remarkable evening, for putting our religion and our faith and our tradition in front of everyone in a great fun way, because a Purim spiel is like pantomime. And that's exactly what we did tonight. We poked fun at ourselves, we poked fun at our history, but we paid absolute true credit to the history, thousands of years history, where we commemorate really acts of survival that has allowed us all to be tonight. So Brad, we keep on having people asking for one last impersonation, and with that, we're going to close tonight. So leave us with one thing, and then we'll say goodnight to everyone.
Howie, I've had a request to impersonate you.
Please.
Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Please join us next week. Please don't stop donating. We'll see you again next week. Good night, everybody.
I love it. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you to everyone for watching and for participating. We'll see you again in the week.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Cheers. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
Thank you.